Okay, I thought we was gonna go live, but we're not today. But however, how y'all doing? Get down on it. Get down on it. Hey, babies. Anyway, we're going to talk about today being an orphan and what it's like to be an orphan. Now, I know it's hot. It's hot in here in South Carolina. But, however, I know I put the cigarette out. I need to stop smoking. My doctor keeps telling me that. But somehow I just can't stop it yet. Stop it, Timmy. But anyway, we're going to start off. And maybe y'all can understand because we're going to be starting a live podcast. I don't know why I'm not going to be able to talk because the devil don't want me to. But however, I'm going to get through it. And I will be able to talk. So it's all good. Anyway, on June 14th, 1970, my daddy came home from work. And he was in a real big hurry. And to go somewhere. And that's not usually like him. He normally come home and I would be, at his foottails, pieces, saying, Daddy picked me up, like a little monkey. And he picked me up when we would, have dinner and, and that would be, because my daddy was my everything. Now, my mama would whip my butt during the day when my daddy not being there. But when my daddy got home, I knew it was a wrap. I wasn't going to get my butt spanked no more that day. And, But anywho, life didn't stay that way. Daddy came home the day, 14th day of June, and he was in a hurry. And he said, Joan, pack up the car, get the kids packed up, we got to go. And she did that. We got in the car, and I sat next to my father, and Marsha sat next to me, and I am so hot, y'all, I'm sorry. I went running around. But Beth sat next to Mama, and Scotty was in Mama's lap. And we left in a Cadillac convertible. And, my mom and Daddy was 27, Mom was 25. And I remember, you'd be amazed what a 3 and a 4-year-old remember. I mean, for real. And I remember this one day, I guess I'd been down there a couple times, to the candy store right next to our apartment. And I went in there and got candy, so I felt, it was secure enough. I decided I was going to take that to Marsha in there, and I did. And I said, y'all put your little candies in your pockets. And y'all remember them screen doors that would slam? Well, it did that, and I knew right then that was Mama, and I was going to get my butt whipped. And I did. Mama took me back to the apartment, and she whipped my little butt, and put me in my little room, in my little playpen. That I crawled right out of it. I waited on Daddy to come home, and I mean, at 3 years old, and he did. I come out the room like I just knew it, I had this, and she couldn't spank me no more because when Daddy was home, she wasn't spanking my butt. Okay, but this day, Daddy came home and he was in a hurry. He didn't have no time for me. Okay. All right. Now, John, hurry up and get him, rushing. I mean, we had to leave in a hurry. So she did that, and the back seat was full of clothes, y'all, in this Cadillac convertible. And I know I'm a mess because it's so hot, y'all. But anyway, I'm going to get through this. It's very important that y'all hear this and the rest of the story, okay? Now, Mama's and Daddy's family always feuded and fought. And Mama's family didn't want my mama being with my daddy. Now, I don't understand why, because my daddy made a good living. She never had to worry about working. And she loved her husband and she loved her children. Maybe they were jealous and didn't want my mama and daddy to be happy. I mean, that's in some families, that are like that. But I'm not sure what that problem was. But all I know, it was over greed and money from my mama's side of the family. And my daddy's side of the family were, had a little more smarts about them and didn't act like that. Okay? And now throughout the years after Mama and Daddy passed away, Uncle Gary and Uncle Clovis would always, they deterred me and the rest of us, not having nothing to do with that family. But oh no, I was hell bent. I had to get to know them. Yes, they are. Unfortunately, anyway, so we're going down the road, y'all. And we're leaving Toledo, Ohio, and I'm writing a song about this. It's gonna be coming out soon. I'm gonna be sending it to y'all soon. And we got in Shelby, Ohio, where they said my daddy fell asleep on his wheel, and that's impossible. Because I remember Mom and Daddy hollering at each other, and they were speaking, and I believe it was because we were being chased. Now, I believe we were being chased by my mama's family. Because if they got rid of my mom and daddy and all 4 kids in that car, then that would pump the money out that was there. And why I'm saying this is because I'm 59 years old now, and I've got every right to say this, because I lost several family members due to this. Now hear me out, y'all. Anyway, so the car, Daddy lost control of the wheel, and the car went flipping 4 times. And when it stopped and the dust settled, my daddy was unrecognizable. I crawled out of the car and got my 2 little sisters by their hands and knelt down beside my mama. And she said, barely breathing, it's gonna be all right. Well, I knew it wasn't gonna be all right. That was the last time I knew I would ever be comforted by my mama. There would be no walking down the aisles or no prom day with daughter and father would dance. That very day, we became orphans. I heard my brother crying in the weeds. And me and Beth saw and raised so much hell when they got us to the hospital, which there was a car standing beside, right over, like in a distance. To much the surprise that 4 little children survived that horrific car accident. I know from the bottom of my heart that was my cousins. They took us to the hospital, and Bethany and I went to start raising hell. They came in with our little brother, Scotty. After then, Beth shut down. She really didn't talk again for 2 years. And in that very day that I'm 3.5 years old, I had to grow up fast, quick, and in a hurry. The little girl inside me never got to have childhood or anything. You raise yourself from the rebel. I ain't nowhere else to go but up. And that's what I did. And I didn't stop. Neither did Beth or Scotty. Scott became a bus driver for Walt Disney World. Beth became a realtor, and she went above that. She accepted property management, wrote mortgages. We didn't stop. We was not going to let that put us down. And then we spent several years being bartenders and waitresses and stuff like that. I became an entrepreneur. I had a business for 20 years. Bunch of agents. I have been a lot of things other than what they call me. But we excel. Marsha, not so much. But anyway, throughout the years we had children. And unfortunately, I'm going to tell you, that you would think that all of that would have been enough. Your own children will turn against you. And have the town turn against you. Even try to unalive you. Even have your boyfriends. They talk so much smack. I mean, they had me and Bethany, Jim Wyckoff Jr., and his family put me and Beth through so much hell. Living hell. And listen, they came along with this. So the Wells Fargo Bank. Had us out there looking like a fool, begging for money, begging for food. He was beat up. You see this? See how my arms ended? That's from Angela Keaton. My bank was sabotaged by Brittany Martin, 2023. Why didn't I go to the hospital? Because they want the hospital to have babies that live in the hospital with babies in March 2022, 2023. My sister just lost her life. Paige Autumn White, Marsha Darby. Stop. Why was that store? They didn't rob, they didn't take nothing. But they beat my brother to death, thanks to death. Why? Over money. Blakely money. My grandfather was the biggest coal miner in Kentucky, Williamsburg, Kentucky. Josephine was just on Facebook yesterday. Talking about, oh, I'm so sorry, sucking up to the damn police about their towing company. They know that they've done their cousins wrong. Have they done anything to make this right? No, they haven't. Not in any kind of way. No. Paige was cut up in 1 million pieces. My niece. Well, how do you expect us to solve this case, Mr. Dotson? You don't need a whole body to solve the case. They know who did it. Marsha, Renee, Dotson, Rowan, Hood. Where's Lance Hood? We spoke this while I was stranded and stuck in Delight, Arkansas. Prescott, Arkansas. And told the police officers they didn't do a damn thing about it. Nothing. How long is this going to have to go on? How many people are going to be killed and cut up in a million pieces before they finally do something about this? How many? How many families have to go through torment? I want to know. I know I'm not the only family out there that is going through this. I know there's a lot of people out there that love Paige Autumn White at Hot Springs, Arkansas, and here in South Carolina. She never, not one time, was arrested here in South Carolina. She's got 4 babies. 3 here in South Carolina, 1 they sold. And where's my babies? Yeah. If you don't believe this, check out pictures on Facebook. Pictures don't lie. Why would I be sitting here lying to y'all? That'd be stupid, wouldn't it? Y'all, this gotta stop. What about prison? What about taking my sister to the hospital They're putting her on a bus. Sent her back to Arkansas after I told them all of this. Her son had her for 4 days. Took her to the hospital and dropped her off. She went down a flight of stairs. Whoopsie. Oh well. Went in a coma. I got to the hospital to just talk to her for a brief 2 minutes, and that's it, before I was rushed out of there. She came out of a coma. Trevor had the plug pulled the next day. They started her 6 days. That's how she died. That's how my sister Beth died. Yes. They didn't even give her a chance to see what she could do. She can also ventilate herself. She did that. She came out of a coma. Why did they rush him out of the hospital? Because I was asking too many questions about Page Autumn White. Why? Because the law's involved? This needs to stop. No one gave y'all the right to act like God. Officers, preachers. You took an oath. You need to stand by that oath. Sons, sisters, you have no right to take no one's life. You don't. That's God's son. Okay? You have no right to hate on your mother and pass false gossip on her name. That's attempted murder. After what my sister and I went through on the road for 2 years, homeless. Yeah. After robbing me and stealing everything I worked for all my life. And we had nothing. No clothes, no food, no nothing. A Jeep that barely ran because it was vandalized. And the vehicles before that were vandalized. I had a job with UPS and didn't want to vandalize that. That's called attempted murder in my eyes. It sure is. But since then, I have picked myself up out of the rebel again, dusted my little butt off, and I am doing great, and I will carry on. Okay? We bought a little piece of land in Arkansas, no less, and we're about to buy one in Tennessee. And I will have my orphan organization, whether y'all like it or not. And how about my land in Kentucky? Well, let's see. Scott's gone. Beth's gone. Mama left 100 acres. Mark's going to go to prison. What? I'm not going to leave all that land to my children. It's going for orphan organizations once I get it. We will have a fun park, a water park, in Williamsburg, Kentucky real soon. Love you.